It was like not even direct.
And listening to yourself, not doing what other people expect.
Leader, and then you act from you just acting in that moment. Hi everybody, my name is Leanna Martins and welcome back to Change Makers. Today I am excited as I always am because we get to speak with Harriet Tinka of Empowered Me. And I found Harriet because I have enrolled my daughter, Satya, in her 8-week self-esteem program, which is called Empowered Me. And as you all know, this program is about Edmonton leaders and change makers, and that's exactly who Harriet is. So thanks for coming, Harriet, and welcome. You have recently just taken a big leap of faith. So in 2020, you're a CPA, right? And you're working with the city, like you were saying, and you decided that you're like, okay, I've been doing this hobby on the side. I'm gonna make this this is my purpose, this is my passion, and I'm gonna do this. Pre-COVID, you made the decision, boom, COVID hits, OMG. She had a bunch of contracts, dead. No income, 3 kids, and a partner at home. So,
yes, yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do is a good question. First of all, thank you for having me here today. Excited to be here. When you get to that point, you really have to have that inner dialogue. Like, what are you going to do? But I knew I could do it, but I also had self-doubt.
Of course.
Because when you get to
You're
that
afraid.
point, oh, it's
new.
scary. Yeah, it's
You've
like
never done it, so how do you know?
Yeah.
But you're like, oh.
Yeah, what do you do? Because when I like to think as an entrepreneur, there's a difference between being employed and being an entrepreneur. Because when you're employed on another organization, it's like being in a zoo. The food will come at 12 o'clock.
Agreed.
Somebody will come in and take care of you.
Agreed.
But when you're an entrepreneur, you're in the jungle.
You are in the
jungle. You do not know if you're going to be a meal or when your next meal is going to be.
100%.
So what I had to do is try to figure out, and I used what I call the Japanese word for purpose, which is the ikigai. So I had to find out what are the 4 questions, which is what do you love to do? What are you good at? What does the community need? And what can I do and get paid for it? So I used that whole entire model to find out. I had to say to myself, what am I good at? Okay, I'm good at listening to people. I'm always there for people. So I had this conversation with myself. It was a negative thing, but I turned it into an opportunity.
Okay, so what was the number one internal obstacle that you had to overcome?
I think it was more self-doubt, saying, how can I do it? I was working for somebody getting a 6-digit salary. Now I get 0, get nothing. So I had to say, okay, I need to talk to myself and say, I can do it. I was doing it part-time.
And is that what these were?
Yeah, the affirmation.
This was the affirmations you used to take control of your self-doubt when you needed it, and this has now become part of your business.
It has, yeah. And this is a set number 2. The set number 1 was really about how are you feeling? Because mental health was one of the challenges. So I came up with some really, like how I was feeling, I put it in the affirmation cards, and that helped other people.
And so did you find you were dealing with feeling like self-doubt and feeling some insecurity, like I can't do this, what if I'm not good enough, what if I can't make it happen, what if I'm a failure?
Yes, all those what ifs. Scary. Those are all what ifs. And as an entrepreneur, you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I have to depend on me. My children have to depend on me. So it was, and other people also depended on me. So it's like everything is pointing at you, and you want to hide, but you cannot hide because it's not realistic. So I figured it out.
So it's acting in spite of fear. Again, this is the same conversation that I have again. So for any of you, I don't know, young, it doesn't matter how old you are, anybody who's wanting to make a change, who has a vision, who has a dream, and who is afraid, hear this, we're all afraid.
We are.
Right? Those are human emotions, and it's part of the process. So for you, what you did is you just didn't allow those emotions to stop you. You felt them, but you found a solution, and then ultimately your solution became part of your business, right?
I think when you have your own business, there's something, people say, oh, you have your own business, you do what you love to do, and that's exciting. That is true, but you also do things you don't like to do. Like I don't like marketing. I don't like internet.
And business. You like accounting though, you're an accountant. I hate accounting.
I love accounting, that part I love, but I don't like to do my own books, to be honest. So I get somebody else to do my books. There's many revenue streams. So I'm not always stressed out every month saying, oh, what do I do? So I kind of know this one's bringing in 50%, this is 30, this is 5, and on and on. But there's always something there.
Good
so I'm not feeling like, oh, a little bit overwhelmed.
You
So I
work
do
with
that.
your numbers more than I do. I don't know any of that.
It's my superpower.
Wow! I need you, Harriet.
I'm available, absolutely, but I do enjoy doing that because I believe as an entrepreneur, I live by two models, which is basically anything that anybody's learned, I can learn it. So I remain teachable.
Yes!
And the other
they
thing is
say.
my reality is real. Like I don't whatever your reality is, it's real. You can own it. I can say I'm a black woman. I can say that I can't get funding. All those excuses are real. But what am I going to do about it is the key.
Why is it important? Why are young girls important?
Oh, they're absolutely important to me because I feel I use myself as a cheat sheet, so to speak, because I've made so many mistakes. And I think our young girls coming out, they don't necessarily have the same. I think it's so easy right now for young people. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have the internet. If I wanted something, I'll go to the library.
I know.
And I'll
You
go
own the
research
Rolodex.
it. Yeah, and then sometimes that page you want, somebody ripped it off.
It's instantaneous.
Yeah, so we need to teach our young girls the tough love. We need to teach them the foundation. Not everything is easy.
How do you do that? How do you teach children to love?
What I do is I talk to them a lot, ask them questions, because I meet them where they are, because they have so much going on. And I also feel sorry for them because there's that validation on social media. Look at that person doing this. I want to look like that.
I know.
So what I do is like own yourself and don't let the internal dialogue, don't let it in. And that's hard. It's got to be hard work. So I teach them the most important thing is gratitude.
I'm trying to work, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm trying to, I'm hustling, I'm trying to be successful, I'm trying to create all the stuff. But in that, I can forget being a mom, I can forget being a role model to her, and I can forget giving her the time and energy she needs. Or if she's being a little jerk to me because she's 14 and she just doesn't want to talk to me, then I'm like, screw you, I'll go do my work if you don't want to talk to me. But there's like learning in that. Like I know that my approach it's not working in many cases, and I've got to try something different, and it does require time and energy.
Yeah, it's trial and error. That's what it is. What works today might not work tomorrow. So the young children, you don't really know. But I think the most important thing, you have to focus on your self-care. Because when they're doing that, it's not personal.
Yeah,
but it's so
it's
easy
so hard.
It's so hard to say, oh, she's doing this to me.
I had this conversation literally this morning.
Yeah, it's not to you. It's just they're going through stuff. You need to have that conversation with them and see what's going on in their mind.
You're right.
Like I enjoy working with young people because one of the biggest things that they tell me is parents really try to think for them.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't ask the questions. You're constantly saying, let's go to the mall as an example. Right. Instead of saying, what would you like to do today? Yeah, I think it depends on how you talk to them. It's just how you, because kids will always remember how you make them feel. There's moments where, they're having their drama and they need a break. It's like, so sometimes I ask you, do you want advice or do you want me to listen? Or do you want me to listen?
That's a good tip. So do you want advice or do you want me to listen? Fair enough, because if they're opening up, let them speak.
Why did I wake up today? What is my goal today?
Okay. Well, why did you wake up today? What's your goal today?
My goal was to work with young girls. I knew I had my girls coming in today and I was excited to see because I missed them last week. I want to know what they did. And today we're working on our core values. That was a topic we worked on.
Oh, that's a rich conversation. I love it.
It was good. And some of them, what is core values? So we did an exercise and they all came up with their own core values, what they believe in.
That discovery is amazing.
It was good because they didn't know what core values.
Because they would never be introduced to that. Like as adults, those are workshops that I've done.
Yeah.
And as a coach, right? You go into core values.
Yeah, like what are they? What I believe in.
Yeah.
So they're very important they're all personal.
Right.
But the top 5 was all about giving back, and it was about celebrating themselves and loving themselves unconditionally.
Harriet, this was born out of COVID, which was, right? Also, these affirmation cards were born out of COVID, which was born out of necessity for her. And this is what she's used to go from having 0 contracts to now having a self-sustaining business in a very short, like 2 years, in all honesty. That's quite amazing. So thank you so much for coming in, Harriet. Is there anything else that you would like to share with young, like, it doesn't matter, just change makers like you, who are wanting to step forward, like there's something that's stopping them, or maybe they've given up on their vision or their dream, or they've had failure? What would you say to them?
Failure, as I was saying before, sometimes you fail, or sometimes you learn. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. But what I think the biggest thing, if you want to start a business, just get started.
Just get started.
Just get started, because it's all about progress. if you fail, just ask yourself, okay, what did I learn from this?
Yes.
What are the key things that I learned? Or perhaps there was something that maybe went left when you should have gone right.
You got it.
Yeah, so just don't give up. If you have a passion, get it done. But not all passion turn into businesses. So that's why I also, when I work with people, I tell them, what is your intention? What is your market size? So because not all passions are necessarily going to turn into a business.
But
so
that's that question. If you ask the question, what did I learn? If you always have that beginner's mindset, you will come to that answer, right?
Yes.
You're going to get, how do I do a business analysis? How do I determine if this is a relevant market? So Harriet Tinka says, just go for it. Everybody says that. Everybody
just get started, and ask the people who've done it,
and continue, find mentorship, and continue to ask, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, Harriet. It was like amazing to have you. And
great.
Stay tuned for our next episode of Change Makers. Thanks for watching, everybody.